Well, allow me to explain what Black Dragon Ninjutsu is. And to do this, you have to understand what a Moto Ryu Budo is. A Moto Ryu Budo is a family martial art. It comes from the Emoto family. One of my original instructor, Reginald Martin, had married a young woman from Japan when he was stationed over there, and her family was the ones who practiced this system. Uh, After he died, I studied with his uncle-in-law, Kiyoshi Emoto of Canada. The Emoto system is a family system. It comes from that family. Even though they do claim to go as far back as feudal Japan and the Emoto family, which was well, the infamous Saijin Emoto, uh, they're not. Or as far as I know, they're not. I could be wrong. They could be, but as far as I know, it's been an oral tradition passed down. A lot of the lineage is simply missing because it's dad taught me, grandpa taught him, great grandpa taught him, so just let it go. Uh, and a part of this Budo system is that you have two different sides. You have Bujitsu, literally martial arts, fighting techniques, battlefield strategy, stuff like that. And then you have Ninjitsu, which is the espionage, sabotage, assassination. I think assassination more like spy versus spy as opposed to going in and killing an enemy general. Uh, and a number of scouting, survival training, stuff like that. So you have the martial art, the war art that is done on the battlefield, and then you have the hidden art that is done in secret. And between those two, being the bastard child of the Emoto Ryu, I have found a home with the Black Dragon Fighting Society. And that is why the name changed to Black Dragon Ninjitsu. It's still drawn from the Emoto Ryu system. Though I do incorporate some techniques and some training methods from Grandmaster Kim, Grandmaster Lawrence Day, several others. One of these things that I have adapted is the Kata Dante, and Grandmaster Kim's Lost Track form, which I've actually been rather good at pulling off due to my short height. Uh, the system has been updated with modern infantry tactics coming from me, modern weaponry. So what you have is a system of ninjutsu, which is a complete battlefield combat system that can be utilized for the modern era. Some of the weapons we train with are the AR-15 battle rifle, the AK-47, the AK-74. They're all the same family of rifles there. We even incorporate a ninjutsu sniper program into our syllabus. Though, bear in mind, our sniper program doesn't go past 600 meters, and it's nothing like the military-grade sniper program that some of these guys use, and you're not going to. But the thing about it is, we've incorporated this system. We've modernized it, adapted it, changed it. And when I say we, I'm saying me, my students, my friends, the other masters around me that have had an influence upon me. All of this comes together, and we actually encourage our students to adapt and modify their system. We don't want you to just say, okay, this is what we taught you and that's it. We want you to look at it and say, this is what they taught me, and this is what I can do to improve it. Because once I give you that knowledge is yours. What you do with it is up to you. You can squander it or not. A good example of this is there's a proverb in the Christian Bible about servants. The master leaves and gives each one of them money. One of the servants buries his money and says, look, I still have it because I buried it. One comes up broke and the other comes up with a lot more money because he went and, used it to make more money. And the master says, well, you're broke, but you tried and you were successful and you didn't even try. Well, the same principle applies. We want you to try to make it better. We want you to try to adapt it. We want you to bring in new things, new elements. One of the elements which has very recently been added is the application of parkour. This is, in fact, due to Johnny Hunter Ronan, who is one of my correspondence students. Um, and a lot of the ninjutsu psychology and stuff that he is learning, even though he doesn't necessarily need to be learning it at the, or he shouldn't be learning it at the level of white belt that he is, I'm going ahead and giving him access to this because he's currently going to college for criminal justice. And a lot of the psychology, the deductive reasoning, the intelligence gathering stuff basically boils down to simple detective work, and it's something that has helped him in his class, in his criminal justice classes, and it's also something that has helped to well, it's also something that's basically helped him to be able to assess situations a lot better. So the martial arts side of it, the punching, kicking, and all that's only a very small element of the ninjutsu system. What I'm going for here is to have a complete system, and since I know no system can be totally complete, can be totally perfect, the only way to make it totally complete, totally perfect, is to allow room for the student to grow, to adapt, to change, to modify things as they need under the conditions they need. Most likely, Johnny will continue to use his Muay Thai and his Hapkido and his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as his main combat system, even though he does incorporate some of my stand-up grappling techniques and some of my footwork and stuff from the Taijutsu / Jiu-Jitsu of the Emoto school. But at the same time, what he's mainly looking towards, what he's mainly gathering, is the intelligence aspect of it, the ability to gather intelligence, to filter it, to use deductive reasoning. And he's modified it using parkour. He's the one who brought it to me, which I thank him for. And this is one of those things where we continue to modify, adapt, and grow the system. Over time, possibly all my students will. At least those who wish to become instructors over time, I suspect or believe that they will advance it and modify it, and what it looks like today will not be the same thing that it looks like 10 years from now. In fact, what it looks like today might adapt to something else completely tomorrow. That's the entire purpose of ninjutsu, to adapt, to overcome, to persevere, to, grow. And that's what the entire modernized version of the system is about: growing, adapting, changing. I don't put a big stock in a lot of the technology. A lot of people have asked me why don't we apply the use of night vision goggles and everything else. Well, there's two things wrong with that. Number one, equipment fails, batteries go out. So if you're trained to use a lot of night fighting tactics with night vision goggles, and your night vision goggles go out or something happens, you lack the skills to be able to adapt and overcome. If you're trained to not use that night vision, to not have to depend upon your vision in a darkened environment, and then at the same time you have the luxury of having those night vision goggles, then if something happens to them, you're not handicapped because of your reliance on equipment. In fact, a good example of this would be the fact that both Grandmaster Kim and Frank Dukes do a lot of training blindfolded. The Russian military trains their soldiers in close quarters combat while blindfolded. The reason for this is because at night you usually can't see the enemy. So if you can't see the enemy, you have to find a way to overcome that disability. If you're blinded for whatever reason, you have to find a way to overcome that disability. And again, this falls back. You fight the way you train. If you train to overcome the disability of not having your sight, then there's a better chance that when you're in combat, when you're in an actual encounter where you have to fight, that you will be able to overcome the ability of not being able to see. Night vision goggles help you to see, but without them, how do you overcome that disability? It's no different than having chalk thrown in your eyes.